Alright, so this episode of wet number 3 is going to be how to figure out what these numbers mean on your welder. Alright, so we have it, wet number 3. The question is, what are my settings? This is something that I've seen a few different people ask, so I figure I will try and put a video out there and help them out with this equation a little bit. What we see often is a welding machine that has two dials. This is primarily for a wire feed or gas metal arc MIG machine, however you want to call it. And a lot of times, if it doesn't have a digital readout, what it's going to do is give you 1 through 10 or A through J or whatever you may have it. So how do I correspond, like if I'm given a WPS and it tells me I need to have such and such amperage, how do I know what, or for that fact, wire feed speed? What do I set the machine to? So basically I'm going to primarily focus on this 1 through 10, and then the equation for voltage, same thing, you just got to do it for voltage. So what you got to do is you have your maximum minus your minimum. You're going to divide it by the number of, I'm just going to say increments. Because it's a 140C, the C means it's a continuous control. You can also get a tapped one where, say, instead of the continuous control on your voltage, each one of these is like a click and it taps into a spot. So I'm going to say the N is just the number of increments. And when you do that equation, what X is going to give you is how many amps are you increasing, or inches per minute on wire feed speed, if you move from 1 to 2. Simple enough. So where a lot of people are going to, I guess, screw up is that, say these are the numbers for that machine. Amps starts at 30 and goes to 140. Alright, so my max here is 140 minus my minimum of 30. I've got 10 different increments, and when I do all this, 140 minus 30 is 110, divided by 10 gives me 11. So when I start off, I got number one of my amps here is going to be 30 amps because that's my minimum. Number 2 is going to be plus 11, so I'm at 41. Number 3 is now 52, and so on and so forth. So 63, 74, 85, 96, then we just keep going until we get to 10, where we end up at 140. So then we do the same thing for wire feed speed, which is really what it's referencing over here on your control. And let's get you to where you can see all this. But yeah, over here on your control, this is really your wire feed speed that it'll reference. So your wire feed speed, number 1, you're starting at 50. And now to find your increment value, again, it's 500 minus 50 is 450. And then you're going to divide that by the 10. So 45. So every time you increment up, it's 50, now it's 95, 140, and so on until you get to 500 down there on number 10. This method can just as easily be used on your voltage as well. So if you got your minimum and maximum voltage that your output can be on the machine, you can figure out what you got going on there. Alright, so that pretty much sums up what we're going over with when we try and figure out what are my settings when you have just a an analog, and it's not necessarily a tap machine, but just 1 through 10 or letters A through J, whatever it's giving you, that would be the technique that I would use to figure out where I'm actually doing it. And I mean, I haven't really come across a situation where I need to permanently affix it to the front plate of my welding machine. But if you needed to do something like that, it'd be pretty simple to kind of get a template and then mark out, instead of 1 through 10, you could mark out, this is my wire feed speed and this is what it's at as you go around it. So I hope you find that useful and helpful, and if you like it, comment, subscribe to the channel for more information like this, and please leave comments on something else welding engineering topic related that we would be interested in hearing about, or you would be interested in hearing about, and I will probably try and incorporate that into one of my new videos for you. Again, thank you.